I guess we got to start off with the Le Parisian piece, right? And it just said quite simply, Liverpool are ready to pay 140 million euro, including bonuses, for Barcola. Now, I'm not saying that that's an agreed number. I haven't got a clue on the numbers of it and when it's agreed or not. But let's look at it objectively for a minute. What's happened over the past 24 hours? Well, Paris Saint-Germain have gotten Guts in, got the Here We Go there in Romano. They've gotten Ferran Torres in. They've already got Akliouche in. So they've got all of their ducks now in a row, as we've been saying for a while. And there's nothing stopping this deal moving forward now. I hope that maybe we hear something this evening. But as always, a little urge of caution there. But 440 million euro, I mean, it is a weird thing to say out loud and try to justify as a rational price tag because it does seem a bit excessive. But I guess at this point, as a fan, I got to ask the question, is it going to make us better if he comes in or not? And the answer is yes. But also, have we had our pants pulled down a little bit if that's the number? Probably a little bit, to be honest with you. But it is a seller's market for wide players. And as we've said before, with some of the price tags that have been going around, not just this summer, but last summer, of which we've played a part in, can we really expect much else? So look, tonight we'll have that conversation. As I said, up to you guys to let me know what you're thinking on it. The 5DBS, you got a free membership there, mate. Nice one. And thank you to, who was it that gifted them? Let me go back and check. Will, I think it was WL, gifted 5 memberships. Legend bro, thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, folks, let's get into it, right? Let's give us your thoughts on this one. There's nothing really stopping the deal from moving forward now. You know, Paris Saint-Germain have got their business done. So Liverpool have no reason to be waiting around anymore. And look, that's kind of where we're at. There's been lots of talk about Adam Wharton over the past 24 hours, but I think it's fair to ask, how realistic is this under these owners? And what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the finances of the situation so far. This summer, Liverpool are on the hook for, at the moment, about £95 million. And that's before the Bradley Barcola signing. So if we take it as face value that that will be £120 million, then you're in for Liverpool being in for £215 million without recouping any money. So let's then play this out a little bit. Curtis Jones gets sold. Let's say Liverpool get £30 million for that one. So that's then £30 million off. That's £185 million outlay so far. Now, Cody Gakpo could bring that down a little bit. Let's say £110 million. But if Liverpool are to go out there and get a second forward, as has been widely reported, you would imagine that's going to cost 40 or 50 million. So you're back up then again to the 160 million bracket. And that's before we look at the midfield situation. So if Wharton is £78 million or anything close to it, you're then looking at a summer where Liverpool have eclipsed their outlay for net spend last summer by a significant amount. And that's what makes me a little bit cautious here. I do think and expect that there might be something unsavoury with regards to an outgoing if the stuff around Wharton is true. And like I've said, I don't know on Adam Wharton. I am going off other people's reporting on it. I have absolutely nothing inside information-wise on that one. But yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, 1 or 2 games tomorrow, only showing 1 at 6. No, they're both on as far as I'm aware, mate. Both the games on LFC TV tomorrow. That was confirmed by the club a few weeks back, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the time frame was changed. It was initially a 12 o'clock start for the early game tomorrow. They moved it earlier by half an hour. So, right, we need to get Kamara for 40 million instead of Wharton. Look, I guess let's look at the upsides and the downsides, right? So for Wharton, what you're getting is a homegrown player. So it removes a lot of the headache. Now, I'm not saying Wharton is a better fit than Kamara, but it could come down to those homegrown places or the availability of Liverpool to add people into their squad. And of course, a homegrown player wouldn't say no to one. And we've not really shown that we're in the mix for Lamine Kamara recently because, you know, we've had Crystal Palace put in an offer or two. Forest have been sniffing around, but there's never been much to say that Liverpool have followed up what is an interest in the player. So honestly, I don't know, but I'm easy. I just struggle to see a world where we do the business that's being talked about without a couple of significant sales. And that's why I would urge a bit of caution. Rob Holden, how are you? Or Hopton, excuse me, mate. Said, so if we get Barcola and Bay Wharton, then Jeremy Munoz, would you be happy with that? You're still short of a right back, but yes, pretty much. Like, I always expect to be a little bit underwhelmed in the window by a recruitment. So if we had a situation where Wharton came in, Barcola came in, Mbaye came in, Jacque Munoz, yeah, I think that would be a respectable window. Um, but I would still have to say, yes, we need a right back. But no, I wouldn't complain if that was the end of the window and we didn't have any major outgoings other than potentially Cody Gakpo and Curtis Jones. It seems as if McAllister's staying, according to a lot of reports today as well. There's been some reports that suggest that Liverpool could be even entering into negotiations with him over a new deal. So hopefully we get some more concrete news on that in the coming days. Joelinton is injured, according to Craig Hope. I'd seen that report earlier on. Yeah, I think he's out for a few weeks, if I'm not mistaken, which would, of course, rule out the situation with him playing against us. So again, my trolling little friend, how many times do I have to tell you I'm not going to be reading out your super chats no matter how much you spend anymore, because I'm in a good place, dude, and I'm going to stay in this good place. So you can continue to be a cheap fucking super chat all you want, but I'm going to concentrate on the people who actually want to be here. We good? Right. McAllister has such a great song, can't complain if he stays. No, look, I've always been more than open to the idea of Macca staying. But what I haven't been open to is the situation with him running down his contract and maybe Madrid getting him cheaper. So if Liverpool are looking to sit down and negotiate a new deal with Macca, brilliant. I hope that's the case. But it does make it a little bit far-fetched. Is that the word I'm looking for? I just struggle to think that in this window we're going to have an outlay of over £200 million, because we've never done that with FSG. Last summer, yes, we spent 450-ish, but we brought back in around 300. So this would be our biggest outlay net spend. Now, again, maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe now that 30% stake has been bought by Eduardo Saverin, Ahmed Bhatia and the Jeff Bezos consortium, maybe things shake up a little bit. I really don't know. But what do you guys think? Like, would you be surprised if Liverpool got Wharton in, got Mbaye in, got Barcola in, Jacque in, Munoz in, and we didn't really see any major sales outside of, let's say, Gakpo and Jones? I'd be surprised at that, because that would be a fairly significant output, particularly in midfield. But I'd be very happy. You know, I've always said to you guys, I don't know the profile of midfielder that Andoni Iraola wants, but whoever he is, I'm going to get behind them. So if it's Adam Wharton, great. If it's Kamara, great. I just want the manager to have the squad he's happy with. Did FSG want a consortium deal before the transfers? I'd be guessing, mate. I'd be absolutely guessing. Look, we told you guys something yesterday and last night, which isn't an earth-shattering story from us, but I see it's been picked up more today by The Athletic and a lot of other people. I can't keep re-emphasising this enough, but there is a mechanism in this 30% stake that allows this consortium to become a controlling owner of Liverpool in the next 12 months. That would be at an $8 billion valuation, so it would be a hefty one. But according to the reporting from, I think it was CNBC, that is with the investors. That isn't on FSG. This can be triggered by the guys who just bought into the club, if they so wish, in the next 12 months. So you don't put a clause like that in, really, unless you have ambitions or a thought process that may lead to taking up a bigger stake in the club. So let's wait and see. But getting back to your question, I'd be guessing to suggest if any of the two things are linked or not. Because what we still don't know, the truckers here, mate, is we don't know what that money is going to be used for. Because ultimately, FSG can put the money in their back pocket and rightly do so. You know, it's their club. They sold 30% of it. They're free to do what they want with the money. And there's nothing to suggest that they have to put all or some of it back into the club. So we're all kind of in the dark on that one, to be honest with you. Look, you would imagine, though, that when these guys came on board and now have a 30% stake of the club, you would imagine that they'd want to come in with a bit of fanfare and a bit of positivity. So maybe this has been what's dragging things along a bit. But I would be guessing, like I said. Craig, is Bezos confirmed as part of the investments or not yet? Oh, no, it is. It's confirmed. Jeff Bezos, he's not going to be on the board himself. I think somebody else from that investment part of his investment arm is going to be there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Eduardo Saverin's wife is going to become on as vice chairman of the board or something like that. But no, it is confirmed. Eduardo Saverin, Ahmed Bhatia, Jeff Bezos, and whoever else is in that consortium. But what we don't really know is, or at least I don't know at this moment, how much was put in by each person or what the breakdown is inside that consortium. I don't know. Muldor said, I've started calling the trolls the Crunchy Rock Brigade, since that's all the action that they get. Love you, mate. Hope you and the fam are well. Yeah, we're good. Thank you, bro. We're good. Yeah, I had a good talk with myself last night about the trolls, and I'm going to try my best not to bite on anything anymore. You know, if there's a genuine question or somebody disagrees with me, that's fair enough. But there's a pattern of these things. They either ask a leading question that looks like a serious question, they ask me for my opinion on somebody else calling me something, or they just flat out call me a liar. So I'm just not going to bite on them anymore, because I really do enjoy the time I spend with you guys, and I want to give you my attention. Where have we got? David, how are you, sir? Said Chiesa, Endo, and Harvey could bring in more money. Fair, absolutely. I wouldn't say it would be a significant amount of money, but you're spot on, and it would free up some places as well, because Endo obviously takes up a non-homegrown spot. Chiesa, again, similarly takes up a non-homegrown spot. I think between them, David, and I am, of course, guessing, I'm just trying to work out roughly what I think we could get in. 35 million, maybe, for the three of them. And I think that could be me being a little bit optimistic on it. But look, 35 million is 35 million. Ultimately, it's, you know, it's a chunk of change.